Okay, we will start at line 5 of Ois Mem. Okay, we are distinguishing between Ila v'Olu and Oira Moir. And we're saying that Ila v'Olu engages at the level of a ha-arah, not an oir. To the extent that the ilo itself is also not a full-fledged oir. It is only ha-arah. What is ha-arah and what is oir? So we discussed this. As much as you discuss it, you know, you cannot really have a handle on it. There's no handle to it. You can only understand it in your seichel, in a, so to speak, in a very subtle level of the seichel. The mashal that we have for it, which I believe is a pretty revealing mashal, is the presence of the person in his home when he's absent.
That's mahor.
Huh?
That's mahor.
It's a mashal for
Ha-arah.
Ha-arah. The presence when he's not there is mahor.
Yeah.
Is mahor.
When he's absent.
ha-arah.
You only have his ha-arah. You still recognize this is his home, and you will still treat all the things with certain deference. But there is nothing real there. It's only ha-arah. The reality that you see is the way the house is set up. You see that it's a lived-in home, but there is nothing real there. It's reflecting something real. Ila v'Olu exists in the ha-arah level.
Or once said again, this cause and effect exists on a ha-arah.
Ila v'Olu, the process of Ila v'Olu, it's called Ila v'Olu, exists at the ha-arah level. So let's see inside now.
So I'm not sure. We're distinguishing Ila ve'Alu from Or and Mahor, right? Or
Yeah.
We're saying it's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same.
So for the presence, we use the mashal of the presence of the balabais to illustrate Or and Mahor, right?
Absence, not present. Absence.
Absent, yeah. No, when we're saying when he's absent, it's Mahor.
It's ha-arah. Ma'or means luminary.
Yeah, I know.
So how is that absent?
Okay, so why are we talking about Or and Mahor in this mashal?
To clarify, he's saying that Ila v'Olu, he says, is in Oyer, is only in ha-arah.
Okay.
In contrast to Oyer Moyer, which is which is not Ila v'Olu.
Okay.
I said we start 5 lines from the top. Bechinas Ila v'Olu. Ha-arah shabo bechinas v'Olu. Ha-arah that participates in Ila v'Olu process. Behechrech it's imperative, we've said this many times already, but still, it's imperative that Gam ha-ilo hi bechinas ha-arah levad. That the ilo itself, the origin, the source, is also only ha-arah. Because if it was not a ha-arah, if it were the real thing, it does not participate in emanations. It stays put.
Yontu.
Have a good day. And we go right away in the parentheses. The oil legabe moir, because oil relative to moir, eine bechina sivayol is not in the bechina, in the principal process of ilavil. This the Rebbe brings in immediately, because as you say that anything that is in the process of ilavil is behechach. It has to be that the ilo itself is only a ha-arah. So the Rebbe right away says, you may have a question, Eir Moir is also Yilabiyol. So it says, Eir Moir is not Yilabiyol. Again, Yilabiyol. I said these are words, and as soon as we learn them, they slip out of our minds. But they have significance, particularly if we go deeper and see this. Yila ve'olul, cause and effect. The cause and effect are two different things completely. Two different worlds. You have a ball in your hand, and you swing it, and the ball flies. The swing is what caused the ball to fly. Is a swing a fly or of movement? The swing is not a fly. The swing is a controlled move. It causes the ball to fly, which is a completely different phenomenon than moving the ball.
It's completely different. Well, it's related, but by the time the ball's falling...
Wait a second, don't run away. It's related in what sense? It causes it.
As opposed to...
presenting it.
It causes it. It's, but after that causation, it's sort of unrelated to what...
There are different concepts.
A seed
Can I ask something?
A seed and a tree are different. Same deal.
What?
A seed and a tree.
Seed in a tree. Seed in a tree is not Yilabel. The tree is a development of the seed. I mean, besides that, it's in the tree engages also RASHAB. What's wrong with what we're discussing? What's missing?
I'm trying to get a feel for to what extent they're related and to what extent they're separate.
Okay, that we will eventually get, but we see that when you swing your hand and let the ball fly, it is not the swing and the flight are two completely different principles.
I'm troubled by completely different. They are so related. What's the
one causes the other?
Yeah. So in what way they're completely different?
But because in different worlds.
Okay. They operate in different realms.
Yeah,
okay.
Completely.
Fine.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, just 1 second. Right away the Rebbe goes into the parentheses And he says, you will right away come up with a question, but Oyer and Moyer is also Ilu v'Yolu. And Oyer and Moyer is not a ha-arah.
Yeah, we had this a few days ago.
It's a real thing.
But no, it's not.
So that's what everyone, when he comes down and says, Oyer and Moyer is not b'chinas Ilu v'Yolu. And that's why we're in the middle of discussing how, yes, Shlomo.
But we learned that the Ilah v'Oler, one way of Ilah v'Oler is the Oler is a reflection of the Ilah. So if it's a reflection, then it is the same.
It is what?
It's not different. It's only a reflection.
It's not different. It's caused by it.
Yeah.
And it's not a reflection the same way as Oyer and Moyer. Oyer and Moyer are mamash the same thing. The Oyer represents the Moyer. The flight does not represent the hand movement.
I didn't get the mashal which was given about the strike on the ball, the Ilah v'Oler.
Well, how can you get it? You never played baseball. Shame on you.
Play baseball in Borough Park, no?
When you swing your hand and you have a ball in your hand, and after a good swing, at some point in time, you let the ball go, and the ball flies. This flight is caused by your swing. But they are two very different presences. The flight is not a the flight is not a reflection of the hand swing, of the hand movement.
So why do we call it reflection?
It's not a reflection.
But we learned the one way of the Ilah v'Oler is that the ha-arah is a reflection.
Okay,
of the.
that's right. No, I'm sorry. You're right. The relationship between the flight and the hand movement is different than Oyer and Moyer. I'll explain to you why. When you see somebody swing his hand, it does not necessarily mean that he is going to throw the ball. It's not the one and the same thing. When you have a moir, light represents the moir's presence automatically. Wherever the moir is, that's when it's going to have light. It is really a representative of it. Okay, let's continue. Oyer legabe moyer eine b'chinas Ilu v'Yolu is not an Ilu v'Yolu process, relationship. Elo, rather, what then is the explanation? What represents the relationship between Oyer and Moyer? It's like this. There are multiple ways of viewing it. Or either b'chinas gila min ha'etzem, that Oyer is b'chinas, has the quality as a gila min ha'etzem, a revelation from the etzem. It is taking the quality of the etzem and revealing it. It is not of a secondary level. It is translating the etzem at a different level. light and luminary speak of the same thing. And this is not bibchinas ilabol. The luminary is not an olul, a cause for the light. The luminary brings out, creates the light. It's not a cause for it. Cause means something else occurs as a result of this action. The luminary is not. This is oil is the luminary in a revealed fashion. Okay. So it's a gila minoet where bim hayois. So this gilui has the following parameters. On the one hand, shehagilu hu lefeif noetz. The gilui is completely representative of the etzem. The kol malkom yet still harehu bein hareichel gabehu etzem. It is still at the proximity to the etzem. The etzem is infinitely superior to the gilui. That's oyer and moyer. So we discussed this already several days, so, and we have all kinds of points there. This is one way of explaining the relationship. Or shabo al tzimtzum, that the oil comes as a result of tzimtzum mubchirasilu go'oir ha'atzmi. Tzimtzum means contracting and removing the essential oil, the oil that represents the etzem, the moyer. Since that you have removed the essential oil that represents the moyer, so then the oil automatically becomes bein hareich, incomparable in other proximity to the moyer. It's an interesting thing in oyer and moyer. On the one hand, oyer is fully representative of the moyer. On the one hand, they're in two different levels completely. Moyer creates oyer, and oyer cannot create oyer. Whereas Ilavi Olu is just the opposite. Aval ha-arah, that's inside Aval ha-arah, but the ha-arah shabah b'bchinas Ilavi Olu, that comes in the Ilavi Olu process. The hainu Ilavi Olu means, the hainu which means b'bchinas erech, that there is a proximity, there is a relationship, there is a value similarity, class closeness between the ilo and the olo. Finas erech, like we give the mashal of the swing of the hand and the flight of the ball. The flight of the ball is the direct result of the swing of the hand. The same speed with which your hand is swung, that's how the ball is going to fly. And how that is the ol created? By the yilo personally being involved in bringing forth the ol. Like I said, the swing creates the flight. It's not an aloof type of a relationship, it's a direct involvement. The slapshus yilo, the yilo is getting directly involved in bringing forth the olo. Be'echrech. Therefore, it must be shehoyilo higamkin ha-arah levad. It must be that the yilo is also only a ha-arah. It's not the real metzius of the Yetzer. In our moshel, for example, the moshel of the swing of the hand. The swing of the hand is a koyach hatnua in the hand. The koyach hatnua in the hand is a very deep quality. Koyach hatnua can create, can write, can play music, can draw, paint. This movement of the hand is only a ha-arah of the koyach hatnua. It does not capture the whole phenomenon of the koyach hatnua. And this movement, this ha-arah, is what creates the ha-arah of the flight. Yilo v'olo is all participating in the ha-arah level. Okay, let's put that. Let's go further after the parentheses. The last word on that line number 9, I think it is. V'zehu, and that explains to us, that points out the principle that we said is havus ha'olu, that the coming forth of the olu, the olu is not a new creation. The olu comes surfaces. Where does it come from? Where is the basis for its surfacing? It's always all hu alidei. It is as a result yesh k'tzaz hasogo mehoyilo beholu, that there is some element of hasogo, of relationship, of comprehension, of recognition of the yilo in the olu. This is the ilo v'olu. There's the ilo element in the olu, and this is how the olu comes to be. A hasoga, a comprehension. I'll be going to go back and forth in this, and there's no avoiding it. There's no choice, and it's worth the exercise. Oir and moir have also similarity. Oir and moir also have similarity. Oir is representative, is light, because moir is light. But oir has no comprehension that moir can create light. It is only the hitzenis, the surface of the oir. Of the word.
Has no comprehension. The ball, which is our mashal for cause and effect, has no comprehension of the hand or throat.
No, it does. The flight is a similar thing as the movement of the hand.
It's not similar to?
Yeah. It's a movement of the hand.
So before we said it was separate, because it's in a different realm. Now we're saying it's similar to it because it's the same
That's
same trajectory. Let's say. Fine.
That's exactly right. That's why we have to. There's a fine distinctions. On the one hand, you go back and forth. Okay.
But we are saying the light has no comprehension of its luminary, its source.
Right. Even though light is the gilui of its luminary, it's not cause of the luminary, it's a gilui of the luminary. But it is shaloi b'yerech. The luminary actually creates light. Oil does not create light.
Again, the effect never creates the cause. The effect never creates the cause. The ball never creates the throw. So what's special about saying the light has no effect as to the luminary?
The flight of the ball is reflective. It understands what the movement of the hand is. Much closer than the oil being created by the moir. The moir is totally in a different realm than oil. It is an entity unto itself. Not even interested in illuminating the area. It is what it is. The flight of the ball and the movement of the hand are both participating in the same space. All right. So he says that in Yila ve'olu, it happens that the olu occurs as a result of the ilo participating in that the olu has some comprehension of what the ilo is. The olu has some comprehension of what the ilo is. Oir has no comprehension what a moir is. But the flight of the ball has a comprehension what the swing of the hand is. The olu has a hasoga in the olu. O k'moi b'midas u'moichin, as in the motion that we spoke at length, midas and moichin. How does it occur that the midos get their impetus from the moichin? It is alidei shenimshach ha-arah ha-moichin belev. It was the fact that the ha-arah of the moichin is brought down into the heart.
So here, the midos, the emotions are like the ball is thrown.
Light, the flight. Ukemaimer, as it say, bino libo uvo halev meid. Bino is in the heart, because the heart understands in bino. How is it in the heart? The bina is in the moichin, is a koyach ha-moichin. But that a certain aspect of the bina translates into the heart, and that's how midos are formed, created. Liyas mizeh yiseres amidos. From this comprehension that the heart can relate to the bina, this is how midos are aroused. Okay, this is where we have to stop. I don't know how much of today's class has sunk in.